Folks, it's me again, Mr. B. And today we want to talk about the newest and one of the most exciting things that seem to be in the wings as far as global track and field is concerned. And of course, that is the Grand Slam track series that is set to run off next year, 2025. Now, the great Michael Johnson was in Jamaica over, certainly earlier this month, to basically announce the selection, on the one hand, of Kingston, Jamaica as one of the starting point for the global, this global track meet. Now, Grand Slam going to be held in, what is it, four different locations. The intention, my understanding, was to have two international venues, Kingston, Jamaica being one, the other being in London, England. The London thing never seemed to have turned out. And so there are going to be four events, four venues, Kingston, Jamaica being the first. Then there is Miami, Florida, Los Angeles, California, and the series concludes at Franklin Field in Pennsylvania later on in the year. And all of this should be running off throughout the summer of 2025. Now, it's one thing to put together an event like this or conceptualize it, is quite another to deliver it. And, I have to lift my hat to Michael Johnson, a man who has earned a lot from the sport, multiple Olympic gold medalist, and a legend in his time. And so for him to have been able to bring, his team together, because it's not him alone, and to put this on, it is a remarkable feat. The job now is to deliver it. And so Kingston being the first venue, have to make a little talk about our national stadium. The old girl has been in operation since the early 1960s, 1962. We remember this is where they lowered the Union Jack flag and raised the black, green, and gold on the night of August 6th of 1962. And so, she been taking a battering. Will certainly need some refurbishing, hopefully in time. I mean, April is just around the corner, but that's a whole different story. And I think knowing how Miss Babsy operate, them going to try, put out them best, because clearly this is Jamaica on show. And as Michael Johnson made the argument, the decision to bring Jamaica on board is an acknowledgement on their part, on the global track and field community's part, of the significance that Jamaica holds in terms of its reputation as a track country. No other country in the world has impacted track and field to the extent, the degree to which Jamaica has. We currently in a little flux right now, but that's a whole different discussion. And again, wanna big up, Michael Johnson and his team for this bold step to for putting this series on. Let's hear from him. This was a press conference that they used to launch the series prior to the Olympic Games. Well, in fact, it was prior to the American track trials to select their team for the Olympic Games early on this year.
Dollars in prize money.
It's a little over $3 million in prize money for each one of our slams. And, you know, but importantly, only spread across 96 athletes. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, these athletes, you know, they deserve to be compensated for their talent and for what they bring, and we're doing that. So again, important to note as well that, you know, we'll be paying our racers based. Yeah, so.
All right, so 96 athletes is the intended athletes pool for this Grand Slam track event. 48 what we call big track athletes. And of course, one of the first that they signed to headline the initial core group of 48 athletes is Sidney McLaughlin, and we're going to hear from her in a little bit. But 48 core athletes, big athletes. Of course, to make this meet work, you really need the big names in the sport. And we're going to listen to Michael speaking more of the intent. As he pointed out, throughout the track and field year, most of the big athletes tend not to race each other. So if you, unless it's the Olympics or the World Championships, you're not gonna see a Noah Lyles, if you will, running against any of the other top 100 meters or 200 meters sprinters, unless, as I said, it is the Olympic Games or the World Championships. And so, in addition to that, a lot of these athletes really don't make a whole heap of money. You know, you'll be surprised that athletes are run from the Diamond League circuit, and it's only at the Diamond League final that there's any reasonable amount of money. You will recall to this meet in New York just after the Olympic Games, which was designed to sort of elevate the women, who again is another factor in the sport where we the sport really does not provide a lot in terms of earning potential for its track athletes, and more importantly for the women. And so one of the most vocal in respect of this this particular development has been young Noah Lyles. You know, people, we criticize him running out a whole heap, but he has always maintained that the sport don't really pay a lot of money, and he has, in his own way, brought a lot of attention to this particular malady with respect to global track and field. You know, a typical top track and field athlete don't make $200,000 a year. And so, unless you are at a level, say like himself, where you are able, based on your personality, to garner, sponsorship, and then you bring your own flamboyance to the sport, where your sponsors want to be connected with that kind of personality. That is not happening. Shaccari Richardson is another one who, similar situation. Granted, she has succeeded in getting to, signing some pretty lucrative contracts, despite the fact that she is not exactly yet in the fullest extent, the big league. Yes, a world champion, missed out at the Olympic Games this past summer in terms of, Julian Alfred eat her food in the 100 meters, and she finished down the line. Won a gold nonetheless in the relays, but is still one of the biggest names in the sport in terms of as a sprinter. These two, Noah Lyles and Richardson, are yet to sign, and as Noah Lyles put it, it's not that him don't plan on being part of the thing, but what I'm looking for is which big television signing is going to come on board, which big TV's carrier is going to come on board to carry this thing. So be that as it may, though, the competition, the series seemed to have managed to sign Sidney McLaughlin, and outside of a Noah Lyles and a Shaccari, which I believe they are going to sign, you can't get bigger than
Yeah, so John, we're so excited.
you can't get bigger than Sidney McLaughlin. But let's listen to Michael Johnson as he speaks about the decision, her decision.
Yeah, so John, we're so excited to announce our first racer for Grand Slam track, Olympic champion, world record holder, Sidney McLaughlin-Levrone has joined our team.
It's an honor, honestly. Very excited to be a part of this endeavor. Michael's done a great job putting this together, and just knowing that the future of track and field can grow exponentially and that athletes will have the opportunity to just grow the sport, and it's in a place that's ready to do that. I'm excited to be a part of that in whatever capacity I can be.
So what is it about the league or the project or this man that you went, okay, this is a place for me?
I mean, it's very professionally put together, and I really feel like it's going to elevate the platforms of the athletes that compete more than once every 4 years at the Olympics and give us opportunities to compete on a regular basis against the best of the best, and to show, where we are in our training, and just give opportunities for athletes to also be compensated for the hard work that we put in so often that people just don't.
And so, again, you have to give the credit where that credit is due, because as Sidney McLaughlin pointed out, not a lot of these athletes see, any big signings or big money outside of the few big meets, that the few quote unquote big meets, if you will. And so, putting this thing together, getting the kind of sponsorship to be able to offer these prizes. When you look at the numbers per se, that in terms of the prize money, the top athlete is able to earn up to $100,000. Well, certainly that's the big prize money. The meet is dishing out roughly, or just a little over $3 million in prizes for each of the 4 series. And there are 8 athletes in an event. There are no field events thing. So how the meet is going to be structured is that you have the short sprints, 100, 200, 400, 100, 200, and then you have the middle sprints, which is the 400 and 800, and then you have the distance races, the mile, 3,000, etc. So the plan, I'm excited. The event, I'm even more excited that it's gonna start in Kingston, Jamaica. Doubly more excited, because here is an international event that is seeing Jamaica and its track and field program for what it is, and its contribution to the identity that is Jamaica. Michael Johnson is not a man who put his mouth on the ground and talk. He has always been very, very, very effusive about the role that Jamaica has played in keeping track and field at this high level. And so this is a good move, bringing this to Jamaica. I've always maintained that Jamaica has not been utilizing its clout, this heavy clout it has in track and field. And so maybe here, Michael Johnson and his team bringing this meet, kicking off this Grand Slam series in Jamaica, will send a message. I know, our Ministry of Sports are keen, and yeah, we have our own little problems back down the yard. But I believe that we, as a country, as a sporting fraternity, the Jamaicans who love the sport of track and field, and most sports in general, is going to come out. It's a 3-day meet. That's going to be a challenge, depending on what the ticket prices are going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of marketing is in place to drive the traffic. But again, the big draw with this meet is the prize money. For the 4 meets, 12.6 million when compared to the current Diamond League. In fact, based on what the Diamond League has announced over the latter months, they have moved their prize money to 9.24 million. This event is still almost $3.5 million more in terms of prize money. And you imagine an athlete being able to earn, the first of all, the 48 core athletes that are going to make up this meet, the core of the meet, because it's 48 A-class athletes, all the top medalists in the track world will, the idea is to sign these athletes to the series, and then pick another 48 as competitors who are rivaling these core 48. And so, as the global track season rolls out, the organizers are looking at the wider field to see the athletes who are impressing, who are running great times, to bring them into this Grand Slam event to challenge the established 48. But the established 48 athletes, or core athletes, are going to be on salary and still have the opportunity to earn the prize money. And the prize money is as rich as you're winning $100,000. The winner take away 100,000, and even the person who run last, because we're running with an eight athlete field for each event. The athlete who finish 8th will still go home with $10,000 US. So, think about that relative to the Diamond League and the other, quote unquote Grand Slam track meets that have been on the table over the year. So, looking forward to this. It is going to be an interesting series of track events. Let's hear from Michael Johnson. Let him talk a little bit more about the structure and the prize money.
Yeah, so our prize money pool is the biggest prize money pool ever in the history of professional track and field. So $100,000 for first place, $50,000 for second, $30,000 for third, $25,000 for fourth, and so on. Our last place, 8th place, is $10,000. So that's a big prize pool for track and field. But in addition to that, from a compensation standpoint, our Grand Slam track racers are signed to a contract. They're paid base compensation every year based on their value. So at this point now, in the past, track athletes have not been paid to race. They've been paid primarily to endorse the company. Now they can still do that, but also be paid to race. So to your point, they should be paid and compensated, commensurate with their performance and what they bring, and we'll be doing that.
So I did the math. If you add up those 8 spots, it's $262,500. I don't know why we did.
So, yes, Michael Johnson, well played. Let's see how the event roll off. We know that, like everything else, you will have a little glitches. I'm optimistic though that the plan, as grandiose as it sounds, that we will, it will come together nicely. My wish is that Kingston Jamaica generally will come out and support the event. A number of Jamaicans are going to be, have already been signed. I know Akira Nugent is in, among a couple of others. Let me not try to preempt, but looking forward to this event, and would love to get you guys' feedback out there. What are your thoughts? How you see the meet? Yes, there's all kind of criticism that is being leveled, but when you start to shake up things, that is when you're gonna come under criticism. And I suspect Michael is not a stranger, not afraid of that kind of criticism. Hence his this team's desire to take the whole thing on. Track and field certainly needs some shaking up. For a sport that is as old as it is still a crying shame that other sports that are out there, offer considerable a considerable amount of money more than track and field. But having said that, even back home, every little youth want to be a Usain or a Shellyan or a Elaine, and so we are happy that this is happening to the sport. I'd love to get your feedback. Tell me what you think about what we think, and if you have not yet done so, you like the video, hit the like button. Again, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel as we provide more material and information on this development in track and field among other areas of sport. Until then, more time.